I lost 70 pound. I'd lost in 5-6 weeks. So I was 17 stone when I came. So I was quite heavy. Woke up just shy of 11 stone, and I lost all the. I mean, I've got pretty big legs, and all the weight had could come from my legs. Still had my calves, but my legs were fucking nothing, non-existent. I couldn't even text my phone because I'd lost control of my fingers and stuff. So I had to get a nurse to sort of turn my phone on. I can't remember how I did it, but I think it was Josh there actually. He sort of held my phone, but I was sort of still coming out of a coma, still coming after all the drugs, but I was sort of all over the place.
I got a message of Cecil the other day.
Yeah, he messaged me as well on Facebook. He was
back on the scene a little bit. So
yeah.
come on,
Where's he been?
Have a training session.
Where's he been?
I don't know. I don't know if I presume he's been training, but so he said
that he fucking died.
Some mental people out there.
I thought Dan had died, but apparently not.
Maybe he has now.
I almost did. Well, Alice almost did. Did you see on her Instagram?
No.
Wow. She smashed all her head in, so she got like blood all over her face and shit.
What happened?
God. What, just now?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was me beating the shit out of her, but she's told another story on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
she walked into the door, did she?
Yeah, many doors. Good.
Again.
Big Bristol doors.
Yeah. Shouldn't be
What's
talking.
going on, Si? Big in the game.
Yeah, I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Better than I was last time I saw you, and I was like 12 hours out.
Oh, I sent you after the show, if you remember. I didn't see you after briefly at the expo.
Yeah, no, I don't remember. I was after the show, I'm like, get me. I need to just leave. I don't know how people hang around. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know how they do that.
It's like you're not competing this year.
No, not this year.
A year off.
Yeah, did some like wedding shit. Quit my job.
Did some wedding shit.
Got married.
Yeah, quit my job.
All goes downhill from now.
Yeah, exactly.
I made that mistake 3 years ago.
I'm not quite done just yet. Maybe.
I can't say that.
Have you decided what you're going to do next year yet, Dan?
Me?
Yeah.
Probably do a qualifier and fuck off. The UK are not looking for a veiny mess, it seems. When I look at like who they're picking, it's just not going to be me.
Yeah.
And as there are other options now, I think I might be in with a chance, like somewhere else. If they're looking, when you look at the British, like the Johnny versus that other guy, like pure shape and structure. And then we look at the Arnolds last year, it was shape and aesthetics, and I don't have that. There's no point in me trying to chase that, really.
You look more like that, don't you, Dan?
Yeah.
That is literally Dan, except the hair.
Bigger calves than me, I'll say it before you do, Johnny.
I love it. Right, let me just check an intro and then. Welcome back to Bash Bros Podcast, episode 80. Nice roll.
80?
Yeah, 80.
That's like a fucking month. Like solidly of my life.
Yeah, imagine my life editing your shit out of this podcast.
Yeah, true. It's definitely you got the short end. But it's your podcast. I'm just a guest.
No, that's a lie. It's our
I'm a
podcast.
guest that just comes on more regularly than the other ones, and that scared all the other ones away.
You're a co-host.
You definitely
co-host.
Definitely scared all the other ones away.
There were 4.
No, there was 5 at one point. Oh, fucking hell. Anyway, this week we've got Simon Fan, who's obviously for us older generation. We know all about Simon, but for those watching who are the younger generation may not know a lot about you, Simon. So what we tend to do is just ask our guests to give us a whistle-stop tour of what got them into bodybuilding, a bit of their history of their competitive career, and I guess a bit of what you're doing now. So, I mean, don't tell us all of it because we haven't got all night, but give us the highlights.
Okay, so I first started competing when I was 16, so late 80s, when I was still at school. So did quite well. Obviously won junior, sorry, teen. It was teenage back then. So there was no junior. Well, I was still 16, so we did a teenage qualify for. Back then, it was a federation called Latham. So I won my qualifier, which was in Blackpool. Then I won the British Championships. Still a teenager then, and it took off from there. Really. Then the next, I think I took a year off. Then I competed as a junior under 19, and I was doing different federations back then. Still competing natural. The natural federations back then was A and B. So I'd won all the shows, then came second in the British finals. And then I think it was 1994, I decided to turn to the dark side and try the performance enhancing drugs. Then I competed in WABA, I did NABA, then EFBB, which was UKBFF before it was UKBFF. And yes, won my qualifier, first attempt, and won the British Championships on my first attempt at age still 20 years old. Then every year I sort of train, compete as a light heavyweight. And towards the end, I did NABA, then I competed as a heavyweight towards the last few, towards the end of my career. Yeah, but mainly as a light heavyweight, under 90 kilo competitor. And I've competed against Dean about 3 or 4 times. And he's beat me every time, unfortunately.
Just let me stop you 1 second. At the start of that, you said you competed when you were 16 in the late 80s.
Yeah.
That
89.
maths don't work out.
Huh?
I was born in 81. So how can you be 16 in the late 80s?
I was 88. I was born in 88.
I'm 49 this year. So I was 16.
Come on.
You do the maths. You do the maths.
What year was you born?
72.
72. So late 80s. That would be 20 years, wouldn't it?
It would be 20 years.
That literally would have been the year I was born.
Oh, yeah, you're right, isn't it? Yeah, mid to late 80s.
No, I compete. Yeah.
Would you say that Dean's speciality is not mathematics?
Mine is. I'm quite good with dates and times and stuff like that.
Simon's one of these. He's got one of these freaky minds. But he's a bit like. He can remember just weird shit like numbers is one.
Irrelevant.
Like when he was born. That's not that.
Yeah, well,
all that bad stuff.
I mean, it's anyone knows in money. Obviously, he knows that. But then the weird shit I'm coming onto. You can name any bodybuilder, any pro bodybuilder on stage. Name a year, the Olympia, Night of the Champions, whatever, and ask him what.
I used to. I'm not. My memory's not as good.
We're going to test that out later.
I am pretty good.
We're going to test.
He don't know who the person is, but he'll tell you what colour pants he had on.
I would, yeah.
And he's always fucking right. That's weird.
We're going to test that.
Curse.
I mean, it's a safe bet to say he had the black trunks on.
Like a red, in it.
Who is that? Who?
No, it's just like in general, isn't it? It's just go for a punt. Were they the black trunks? Yeah.
Like a red, yeah.
2011 was it? What colour pants was I wearing? Championships.
Oh, black, wasn't it? You always wear black.
Right. Okay.
There's a story on that one. I was in black and I got sent off stage because they said the side of my trunks were a millimeter too small. So they sent me off stage and said, you can't compete unless you find some of the pants. I said, well, I got some, but they're in the car 2 miles away. Can I go and get them? No. So I had to borrow somebody's pants after they just worn them and they was red. And I think that was a little bit brown.
That's a trick question. See what you did there.
They were black originally.
Brown on the inside.
You didn't specify, Dean.
Yeah.
There's still a point for Si, I reckon.
That's
originally were black.
That's pretty grim, to be fair.
It's disgusting, isn't it? And that was just one of their ways that they tried to fuck me off. But I borrowed someone's pants and I won the fucking show. With their skid marks in them.
Did you give them back afterwards as like the winning pants?
I don't think they wanted them after.
Keep these forever, my friends. They're my lucky pants.
You know that muscle worship shit and people ask about pants. I get
well, if they were double dipped, mate.
If they were double dipped.
That reminds me, Darren Ball's got my posing trunks from that show we put on a few weeks, 2 months ago.
Double dip.
He's got my old posing trunks.
Was they used on the day?
they've not been washed since I last competed. So
I can't imagine they're going to be washed and you have them back either.
I said you can keep them.
Yeah, if I could stick to the wall when you throw them at you. Anyway, right, give us a little bit of a lowdown on the rivalry between you two then. Back in those days, I'm guessing it was the friendships come from there, but
Well,
did we get up to date? I don't feel like we went up to date. What year did
so
you retire?
now I own Ultimate Fitness, which is a gym in Birmingham. Just come back from America, doing some YouTube stuff, filming some. I did a few gyms over there, get some content for my channel. So I've had Ultimate Fitness coming on 10 years now, and prior to that, I ran Temple Gym, the original Temple Gym in Birmingham. So for the last 15, 16 years, just been running gyms.
So you managed to get Flex on your podcast, even though Neil Hill told us he'd bring him on our podcast and he never did.
I got Flex by accident, to be honest, because I went to his gym. I didn't message him telling I was coming because he's very hard to. He never gets back. So I went to this gym and we sort of went to reception. I was just about to pay, and he was in a meeting and he'd come out to grab a bottle of water. And I said, Flex. He turned out he had to do a double take, and he goes, "Fucking hell, what are you doing here?" And I said, "I've come to train at your gym." And he goes, "I'll put your money away because you should have told me you're coming, blah, blah, blah." I would have, But he says, "I'm really busy now, but if you come back tomorrow, I'll spend a couple of hours with you." So I was with Flex Wheeler because Flex Wheeler just come out of hospital. So he'd give us a lift to the gym because he's prepping Andrew Jacked. And so we had I was supposed to train Andrew at the time. So Flex Lewis said to me, "Come back tomorrow and I'll spend a couple of hours with you. We'll do an interview and I'll do a tour of the gym." So that's what I did. Came back the next day, but in the meantime, I'm introducing myself to Andrew Jacked because he's coming over to the Arnold next month. So we're going to do some cool stuff at my gym, and I'm flying to Dubai next 2 weeks' time to train with him over there to get some content. So to sort of get to know him. So he won obviously the Texas Pro the weekend just gone. So he's blown up. He's so it was good. But Flex was really he's got his own podcast, and he now Flex Lewis, which is doing well. So we filmed it in his office where he films his podcast. We just did it on my camera, and it was about a 40-minute interview. It was good. It was really good. He's quite honest and open about things.
Yeah.
You said they're coming over for the Arnold. They're coming to your gym. So.
Yeah. So Andrew's competing in the Open Pro class. So Flex Wheeler's been prepping. Well, George Farah and Flex have been helping him. And we've got a guy called Martin, is it Fritzwater? He got a second at the deck with the Texas Pro. Branch Warren's been prepping him. So Branch is coming over with Martin. So they're all going to be based at my gym that week. We've got Sean Ray coming over. There's some pretty cool names coming over that week leading up to the show. So it's going to be crazy down the gym. And I've got a few
around the Arnold, get your ass to Birmingham and come and see all.
Yeah, so Thursday we've got a meet and greet with Sean Ray and Mutant. Friday we've got a deadlift challenge with Branch Warren's going to be opening it with hosting with Gasp. So we're getting out loads of prize money, goodies and stuff like that. We've got a seminar with Andrew Jacked, Flex Wheeler, Branch Warren and Martin Fritzwater on the Friday. And I'm trying to get Jay Cutler to come down as well. Yeah, so
casually
busy weekend.
Yeah,
just a few of the local lads.
Yeah, just the lads having a jam. Like,
I mean, it's the beauty of. I mean, I've trained at Simon's gym since he opened the first Ultimate. I used to go down Temple once a week, and then when he obviously opened the second one, and I mean, the gym alone is amazing. The equipment he's put into it because he's so passionate about bodybuilding, but having these contexts, Simon's always bringing these freaks into the gym. Like one day you turn up and Phil Heath's training there, Kai Green's there, Ronnie Coleman, all the names you can imagine have been there at some point. I mean, you've got some awesome contacts, haven't you, Si?
Yeah, I've been in the game a long time, and it's networking. Obviously, putting on my own. Obviously, I've put on 2 pro shows back in the day. Having Temple Gym, going to the Olympia every year, like hanging around people like Gary Phillips, Peter McGough, all these people like Jeff. And you get to know these people on a personal basis, and they become friends. I mean, obviously, when I bring them over for seminars, they stay in touch So I can go probably any gym around the world and I probably know the owner. So it's been a good network. Yeah, I mean, I did an interview with Iris Kyle in Vegas, 10-time Miss Olympia. She did an interview of her in her gym. That was pretty good. Branch Warren, Johnny Jackson. Yeah.
I love how casual you are about it. Like,
He's
just
met
like-
them all
Make it
so
sound
many
a bit
times.
shitter. Can you make it sound a bit shit? Because obviously we're on a podcast now. We've not got any of these people.
Yeah.
To be fair, we've had some decent.
You have. I'll be watching them, yeah. But I've only just started my podcast, so you've got to give me a bit of time.
We don't need any time by the sound of it.
I know, yeah. I think
Danny was saying earlier, he's had 2 Mr. Olympias on there already, and about fucking 10 people that have been top 5 in the Olympia. I've just started.
That's all right. I mean, the Flex Lewis one is going to be the one that's going to really take off in it because people. He never used to do any podcasts or talking, so people are keen to listen to his stories. You know, because Flex used to have a theory, didn't he, that he didn't want to keep telling his stories. Because
Yeah.
he used to get fed up of saying them. So like, he basically, you were getting all of the stories now retrospectively, and everybody's keen to listen to anything that he's on. So,
But my interview with him was more about his gym, because obviously I was doing gym tours, so it's more about how he set up the Dragon's Lair, why he moved from Florida to Vegas, talking about the equipment, the setup, you know, the stress of like opening a gym over lockdown. It was more about the gym, really. Rather, I mean, everyone knows about his history, about Olympia and stuff like that. So I just wanted to come in at a different angle. And obviously, since his recent retirement, asking about how he feels, obviously not taking any gear, and obviously he's going to start. If you watch the interview, he's talking about going back on some TRT just to sort of give him a little boost. But his training's not priority for him anymore. He's got so many businesses, he's got so many ventures coming along. He's just too busy. Yeah. He's fully booked up for like months and months. Yeah. I was very lucky to get a couple hours of him, to be honest, but I managed to swing it.
Yeah.
He's such a nice guy, though, and he'd always make time for you if you're around.
Even like when we were walking around the gym, doing the tour of the gym, like he had a woman from Australia come just to train at his gym, like to buy some stuff. So, you know, he's obviously with Flex, he always makes time for everyone, no matter who they are. He'll always give someone like 5 minutes, and that's why he's so popular, because every fan will remember that, and you know, it's part of the reason why we flew over there.
It's true. Every time you've met him, he's come to Trojan local, like to ask stuff, and he's like just so normal.
Yeah,
like he'll
exactly,
give everyone the time of day, and he's just such a personable person. That's why he's so relatable.
His gym is called Dragon's Lair. It's like a very Instagrammable gym where he's specifically made it so it's a destination hotspot. So when I walked in, there was Milos there, Milos Arsev, Regan Grimes, Logan Franklin, obviously Andrew Jacked. It was just like casually walking around training. Flex Wheeler there, so it was pretty cool.
Sean was there.
I couldn't. I was going to say he was Flex Wheeler walking around as well, but
yeah, well, Flex picked us up from the airport. He literally got out of hospital the day before, and he came and picked us up.
Too much. Even Dan was shaking his head. No.
This is evil. That's a really bad joke.
Yeah, I mean, so it's such a contrasting thing, because obviously, I guess you've got so many contacts in the game. There's so many people who are not massive fans of Flex Wheeler, and obviously you get along with him. So there must be something about him.
You know, Flex is. I thought he's an amazing guy. He outchanged a bit.
He's met Flex a few times, hasn't he?
But what about you, Si? I got him with Flex great from day one.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a weird sense of humor. I mean, it's like, I'll give you an instance. So he picked us up. He's got this like Jaguar supercharged car, and there was like, I think there was 4 of us in the car, and like there's a car trying to race him on the fucking on the highway. He fucking pulls out this gun, and he goes, "Oh, do you want to race me? Do you want to race me?" He's got a real gun, because you're allowed to carry guns in Vegas apparently. And every time we went out, he went to it's called Denny's or IHOP, like a restaurant. He just pulled out his gun. I thought, well, "What you're doing, Flex?" He goes, "Oh, but it's legal. But you can carry a gun." Went to Cheesecake Factory and just kept on pulling his gun out. I thought, this is fucking weird. This is because you didn't realise you can't bring your gun to UK, you know.
Well, as long as it wasn't his other gun, we're all right. Because then,
yeah, he has got a bit of a sick sense of humour, but he's once you get to know him, he's cool.
I get
Sounds great.
yeah. You would all get on with him because it is like when I first met him, and I was speaking to him for just 10 minutes. He was like, "Geez, man, you're really fucked up in the head, aren't you?" He said, "You'd get along really well with Lee Priest, man." So it's funny, we do actually.
And he was right, yeah. He was right.
Yeah.
I was gonna get him on my podcast, but he'd be a nightmare. It'd be just playing around, joking around. It wouldn't be serious. So
yeah,
we should get him on this one then.
Yeah.
He wouldn't eat any food all day, and then he was like, "Oh, I want to go to McDonald's or pizza." We took him to McDonald's, and he was all quiet, he was all serious, and make his order. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I love fries, I love burger, I love this, blah blah blah." And the woman on the thing, she said, "Is that a regular or large?" And he just went, "Large, just like my cock." I know, he just looked at him. He was like, "What the fuck?" And he went, "Oh, sorry, did that slip out?" But where the fuck did that come from?
This is my guy.
Yeah,
My long lost twin. Where has he been? I mean, we look exactly the same as well.
Yeah,
you'd love him. He's awesome.
I'm not gonna make the joke about your legs, Dan.
We definitely.
It's funny because when we were in the car, when we were in this car, he took off his leg and he goes, "Oh, can you just hold on to my leg for me?" What is it? I was holding his false leg.
He's probably still got better legs than Dan, though.
You made it. You didn't need to make it. You already half made it.
Oh, sorry. I'd make it a bit more obvious. Anyway, fuck me. So I noticed on your Instagram, say you're still in incredibly good shape, pal, for somebody who's no ambitions of competing again.
Yeah, I mean, I do try and train quite regularly. I try to train at least 4 times a week. My diet's very good. It's always very clean. I do cardio religiously, probably 5 days a week for every morning. So I still got that sort of mentality, like I wouldn't say contest prep, but that sort of structure. And yeah, I mean, I enjoy eating clean. I mean, training. So it's part of my life for the last 30 years. So there's no reason why I should stop. Letting go of myself.
I like about like that and eating the same. Like, I don't have to think about it. It's an incredible waste of time thinking about what you're going to eat every day. I can eat the same foods every day without. Yeah, people like really struggle, like doing a food plan. Well, I have to eat the same thing every day, and I was like, well, that takes too long. And I was like, well, actually, if you batch cook it takes much less time than sitting around, like. When you go like to your missus, "Oh, what should we get from delivery?" "Oh, I don't know. What do you fancy?" "Oh, well, I fancy this." "Oh, well, I don't fancy that." And then it's like an hour late, and then you're just like, "Fuck it!" You're all eating chicken and rice.
Does Alice have an American accent now?
Yes.
Oh, just to clarify, is that
Yeah.
Was that
it's an American sitcom in the writing.
Simon did a bit of an extreme diet not so long back, didn't you, Si? You dropped about 4 stone, 5 stone?
You're vegan.
Yeah.
Was that the COVID diet?
It was the COVID diet, yeah.
Yeah.
So just talk about that for a moment, Si. What happened there? Because he was in a very bad way, weren't he? It was 50-50 whether he was going to pull through.
Weren't you patient 0?
What do you mean?
You were like the first one.
You started in the UK.
I don't know about that, but
it was like the first. You were the first person who got ill that I actually like kind of knew. When I was like, "Oh, this is actually a thing. People are actually ill."
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's at the time when it happened. It was right at the beginning of the first lockdown, and yeah, it was. I mean, looking back at it was COVID, but I think it was other things I had at the same time. I was doing some work at the gym. I was doing some DIY stuff, and we had a load of mold upstairs. And it was a Sunday night. I spent the whole night just scraping all the mold off the walls. And like a dickhead, I didn't have a mask on. So about 6 hours, I was just scraping this shit off the walls, and I must have breathed in a load of fumes and like all the spores or whatever it was. Then a couple of days later, I was on the roof. I was like sealing the roof with this compound, and I breathed in all the fumes. So I caught a chest infection and pneumonia, and I caught COVID all in the same week.
And then trained legs had it all.
I trained legs. Actually, I didn't train legs. I said I'm too fucked to train legs. I think first time in 9 years, so I'm gonna have to skip leg day today.
That was the point. We all knew Simon was actually
oh my
ill.
God, he's really ill now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, I mean,
I was bedridden for about 10 days. I lost my appetite. Couldn't eat. I couldn't get out of bed. I was so weak, and the last few days my breathing got really sort of hard. So I was struggling to breathe. Then I think it was the Thursday. I said to Mrs. Well, I got a good friend called Josh, who was a doctor at the gym, and he just happened to text me saying, "Oh, how are you feeling?" I said, "Look, I feel like shit. I can't breathe. I'm struggling to breathe." And he goes, "Come to the hospital now. We'll get you checked up." So I got an Uber to the hospital, the local hospital, which he was working at. Then we got to A&E, and they did a scan of my lungs, and it says, you're fucked, basically. If you go home now, you'll die. So we're going to have to put you on a ventilator ASAP and see how it goes. It's 50-50 if you're going to wake up from it. So initially it was supposed to be for 2 weeks, and it lasted up to, I think it was 23 days on the ventilator before I finally woke up.
And you're obviously out for that.
Yeah, I was totally out of it. Yeah, but had the weird, craziest dreams. I was talking to Flex Wheeler about it, because he was in a coma, I think a couple of years ago, when he lost his leg, and we were comparing like sort of the nightmares and dreams that we had, and they're really violent, sickening dreams. And he thought it was just him. I said, "No, when you come out of coma, you have like a bit of counselling, and the weird dreams are as part of the sort of from all the drugs they give you." So I spent probably, I'm not really told anyone, but about a year getting over the sort of the trauma of coming out of coma and the sort of dreams and stuff like that, which I don't really like to talk about, but yeah, it was horrible time.
Fucking horrendous.
And you know what? When you're in a coma, you don't lose your sense of hearing, so you can still hear people talking, the doctors and nurses. And I think it was 3 occasions where they nearly lost me, and they were trying to revive me. I could hear them trying to bring me back to life. And like, there's nothing you can do about it. You just sort of floating. It's a weird sensation, but you feel yourself sort of dying. It's horrible. It's a weird sensation. You can't snap out of it.
Well, I remember when you first finally woke up and they allowed you to do a video call on your phone. And there was a group of us, weren't there? We got to actually see you for the first time.
Vaguely remember, yeah.
It was horrifying seeing how much weight you'd lost. Like, it was horrendous, and you could barely talk or get words out, could you? Can you even remember any of that?
I mean, I lost 70 pound. I'd lost in 5-6 weeks. So I was 17 stone when I came, so I was quite heavy. Woke up just shy of 11 stone, and I lost all the. I mean, I've got pretty big legs, and all the weight could come from my legs. Still have my cast, but my legs were fucking nothing, non-existent. I couldn't even text my phone because I'd lost control of my fingers and stuff. So I had to get a nurse to sort of turn my phone on. I can't remember how I did it, but I think it was Josh there actually. He sort of held my phone, but I was sort of still coming out of a coma, still coming after all the drugs, but I was sort of all over the place. So I vaguely remember it, yeah.
Wow.
And then you had to relearn to walk again, and everything. Wasn't it? You couldn't talk properly to start with. You couldn't eat on your own.
Yeah, so you obviously were feeding me through a tube for like 5 weeks, and because you sort of you forget how to eat, how to chew. Then obviously lost the ability to walk, so didn't have any, all my muscles on my legs had gone. So I think it was after the first week I come out, I was just trying to pull myself out of the hospital bed. And it took about 4 hours just to pull me up about 4 inches, and then I felt, fucking hell, this is going to be hard getting back under that squat rack.
It didn't take you long though, did it? Before no time, you're doing weighted squats with your body weight on the bench in the park as soon you're doing.
Yeah, so I think it was like a few days after I come out of hospital, come back home, and I was just obviously had to walk with a stick, and like when you're in a coma, your sort of legs freeze up, so I couldn't even bend my legs. So I was just trying to get a bit of mobility back in my knees. So I just tried to do some squats on a bench. I thought, okay, I can do 2 or 3. So every day I was trying to do like more and more, and just go for a walk, literally up and down my road. And every day I was just trying to do a couple more steps. Yeah, and obviously it was locked down. The gyms are closed. It was freaky because when I went to hospital, everything was open, and when I came out, it was like a ghost town. All the shops
Must
were
be like
closed.
fucking 28 days later that
I
film when you
thought-
woke
Yeah, it was
up.
weird. It
I
was
actually
weird.
did die, and so did everyone else.
It was weird. Weird thinking what the fuck's happened to the world. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Did you think like your training was what got you back on your feet so fast? Because I remember like watching it, and
I think when I spoke to a few of the doctors after, they said, you know, having as much weight as I did just did help preserve my life. Yeah, because you do lose 2% of your muscle mass every day whilst you're in a coma.
fuck.
Yeah.
How long did it take you before you was back to squatting 5 plates aside again?
Muscle
So
memory.
I got out in beginning of May. By June, I'd say by August, I was back up to 500 pound squatting.
And the doctors were saying like, yeah, don't move for 6
Oh yeah, because after the 3 months, after 3 months of me leaving hospital, I have to do a 3-month checkup, and so I went to the hospital, and so all the other patients that were in my ward, they were there, like they were just about learning how to walk again, and so I had to do a grip test, and I nearly broke the machine in the grip test, and they had me like walking up and down the corridor on the bleep test. I was like fucking sprinting up and down the corridor.
Did you put the
And,
docs on your back and start lunging?
And then goes, "Can you squat up and down on this chair?" I goes, "So you obviously not watched my Instagram video because I was squatting 400 pounds this morning."
Yeah, but the answer to the question is no, because my legs are fucked from squatting this morning.
Jelly legs, he just falls on the floor. Don't worry, that's normal at this stage.
But they were really impressed how fast I sort of recovered. They were just like, it's fucking remarkable. You know what I mean? Like, you're a freak. But you know, when you get that mentality from obviously the years of bodybuilding, you know, you don't quit there, you just keep going. And I thought, you know what, I'm gonna, you know, try and come back as quick as I can. And because it was lockdown, I didn't want anyone to see me. I think Dean seen me a few times, but I'd lost so much weight, I was sort of embarrassed. People see me so skinny, see. So I thought I need to put all the weight back on before the gyms reopen.
I still have the video.
Everyone was just glad you were alive, and you're like, can't let them see me with shit legs.
Yeah.
I still have the video when you first came out and you're struggling to walk and you got a stick, and it looks like you aged 50 years.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
horrendous.
I'm surprised you didn't do what most of the modern day coaches are doing and capitalized on a transformation picture.
Yeah.
No, looking back at it, I should have did my YouTube then. I would have got more subscribers. Follow my journey.
Yeah, I put on 5 stone in 5 months.
Yeah.
You could do both, couldn't you? You could have done a diet, Bikini Girls diet, how to lose 5 stone,
Get in a coma.
and then go on the mass bulking diet. How to
Yeah,
go from 0 pounds to 500 pounds of squatting.
Just using Sci-Fan's mass gainer.
The KFC
the
diet.
day.
I was just eating everything. KFC, Burger King, like just getting my hand on what I could at the time, just to put the weight back on because I was so fragile. I was like, I just need to put some food back in me. Because when in the hospital, they feed you like on this drip. It's like I don't even know what it is. It's just the bare minimum just to keep you alive, to exist, not to obviously gain muscle. So I was on probably 500 calories for the last 5 weeks, 6 weeks, just a drip.
So obviously seeing your health decline so badly and having such a near-death experience, how did that impact you? Like for now, how is your health? How have you changed your diet, your health schedule, or anything?
Well, you know, Dean, my diet's pretty good. I always, you know, when you see me eat that in the gym, I'm always eating like steamed fish, broccoli, rice. So I try and live a clean, healthy lifestyle as much as possible. I'm not really fussed about being like 18, 17, 18 stone. I think as you get older, you just want to sort of, you want more longevity, don't you? I'm still training as heavy as I can, but other things, I'm not whacking 1,000 milligrams of test in me. So I just run at the moment, I'm just doing a TRT days, which is sort of 200 milligram every 10 days, just to sort of keep my test
You
levels
had
going.
quite a long time off here, didn't you? How
Yeah,
long
I had 18 months off, which was probably the first 6 months were probably the hardest, coming off everything and get my levels, which they never came back, to be honest. And trying to get my sort of sperm levels back, my testosterone, they never came back. And
Can we just go into that briefly? Because there's so many bodybuilders, especially young guys, that have no clue, are just banging crazy amounts of gear, and they don't care about the short-term effects, let alone long-term effects. Now, I know you've taken gear over a long period of time, but you've never done excessive high dosages, have you? So just go into a little bit about your sperm, your testosterone levels more than anything, if you don't mind.
yeah, so we obviously I went to see a fertility specialist about 3 years ago, and obviously we were trying for a baby. And so the first thing we did was to sort of check my sperm levels. So so it's quite funny. Well, it's not funny actually, but when we went to the results, she goes, you got 3. I thought, yeah, 3 million. He goes, no, you got 3 sperm.
And that was feeling like this.
And she goes, two are abnormal. So I've got 1 sperm. I said, okay, because 1's better than nothing. So I said, so you're going to have to come off everything and until they come back on. So I came off everything, did no bridging, no, obviously did some PCT. And I think it was 6 months later, it was slightly coming back. I mean, a normal healthy male, you're talking, they should have 30, 40, 50 million sperm, but I had like fucking 3. So I thought this is going to be a long road. And so just obviously training gear free and just trying to live, stress free. But obviously age is against me. So what happened then? Slowly came back. I think they came within like the high couple 100,000s, which is still very, very low. And even you got a couple 100,000 sperm, only a very small percentage are sort of usable. So look, I have had a lot of my sperm banked for future use, just in case. So I did come off about 18 months, and I was prescribed HMG, which is FSH, and HCG, like pharmaceutical grade. And I was taking that for like best part of a year, which was costing me like £500 a year, £500 a month, sorry, in fertility medication. And after a year of that, I did my sperm test and it was still 0. So I thought, fuck it, it's never going to come back. So that's why I decided to jump back on, just do a shot test every 10 days.
What advice would you give to people taking gear, especially the younger guys who they don't care? They just think a little bit of HCG and Clomid will sort the problem out. What's your take on that?
Everyone's different. I mean, you got to give yourself proper breaks, especially if you're young, like good clear out. I mean, 12, 16 weeks taking nothing. And nowadays, people, I think they're scared to come off everything, so they bridge in like 500 milligram between courses or whatever. But I think you have got to have a good break from all anabolics, and I mean everything, and do your regular blood tests, do sperm test. If you're worried about your fertility, do regular sperm tests. It's only about 150 quid, but it is worth. Even though your levels might be like your FSH and your LH might be high, your sperm levels ultimately tell you where you are. So
have you retested since you've been on TRT?
No, but I sort of know it's going to be it's not going to be good. So I've come to the conclusion it's never going to come back.
I don't know. See, my theory is obviously with TRT and that, like, I think what your attitude and what Dean's attitude toward it is right for younger bodybuilders. For those who've been doing it for a very, very long time, like we have, there's very little benefit in coming off entirely unless you're confident that you can get your levels back. But for those who've been doing it for that long, like you said, you struggle to get them back. And the quality, you probably can tell us more than we know, but from what I've been told, the quality of lifestyle, the libido, the energy, all of that stuff that comes with low testosterone, and the fact that it actually can cause heart attacks, stuff, build up of plaque in the arteries from having low testosterone, all of that good stuff. It actually lends itself to those who've been on for large parts of their life to then remain on TRT for the rest of their life, really.
Yeah, and that's what I've sort of come to terms with. I mean, it's for the quality of life, for sake of 200 milligram every 10 days or whatever, it has made a significant difference in my training, my mentality, and productive. I'm just a total different person. I think a lot of it, I wouldn't say it's psychological, but when you're not on anything for a long period of time, you do feel flat. There's your training sort of goes to shit.
Well, it's low testosterone's been known to cause depression, severe depression.
Exactly, yeah. I wouldn't say I was depressed, but I just didn't think anything was moving forward.
Yeah.
But even like doing 200 milligram test makes a world of difference, especially like when you've been off for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I started back on the TRT, people thought I was doing a full cycle because I just blew up. I put on, I think like 15-20 pound in like 2 weeks. that was that low for such a long time. My body just responded to it. And obviously when you start training heavy, you start eating more, so everything sort of falls into place, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, while we're on the subject of gear, if you can remember that far back, Simon, what was the very first cycle that you ever took? Just for
exactly
people
what it
thinking about taking some gear, I see so many take far too much and super strong things. We've spoke about this before. Just to let people know, what was your very first cycle?
Well, back in the day, there was no underground stuff, so everything we got was pharmaceutical, and so I was taking something called Testex Leo. I think it's still available. So it was a blend of 2 different types of test, and I was doing 250 milligram every 5 days, and I was doing
Was
5.
it and Anfe?
It was something similar, but it was an ester which I've never heard of. So it's something. It was a fast acting, like a medium acting ester. It was 250 milligram Testex Leo, so it was Spanish. And we used to get them from Spain, and but they were 100% real. Because my first course, I started at 13 stone after like winning all the natural shows, and I said where I was training at the time. No one really talked about steroids, and obviously I said to one, I don't want anyone knowing I'm taking any gear because if it gets out. So I went from 13 stone to 15 stone within 2 weeks of taking this Testex and 5 Dynamo. I was squatting 400-500 pound. Like 19 years old, so my strength flew up, my weight flew up.
How many mil was that? Just one shot a week?
I was doing a shot every 5 days. I was doing 5 milligram Dynamo. I think they're Pronabol 5s. They were called Pronabol 4s. Yeah.
5 milligram Dynamo.
Yeah, 25 milligram a day. Yeah.
It's tiny dose. Tiny.
Yeah. But
at least it was fucking real.
Yeah, and you know what? It makes all the difference. It makes all the difference having proper pharmaceutical gear.
It is like a real thing. Like some of the doses I'm hearing of people that have absolutely no gains. I'm like, no, you're not. You're doing some oil that someone has bought from Sainsbury's, like some grapeseed oil. They put it in the microwave for a bit.
I remember the trembolone we used to get back then. It was called Parabolon. It was French. It was 76 milligram per 1.5 milligram per 1.5 mil. And I remember Dorian talked about it, and he used to use 225 milligram a week, so just 3 shots a week of trembolone, which is Trenhex. It's the medium acting ester. So I saw, and I remember when I first started it, I was doing the British, and I was just doing 1 shot every 5 days, and there's nothing like it. Never felt anything like it since. It's just incredible stuff. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's just.
Have you ever tried methyl tren?
No, I haven't. No, that's a bit too scared to do
that. I think Dan would go to prison.
You look awesome, but your life just goes.
Yeah. Everyone around you is on fire.
How would you take that methyl tren? Would you take it before you train or?
Yeah, I think it's used a lot in like powerlifting sports and stuff in the same way like halotestin is used.
Is it a tablet? Is it or a
no? It's injectable, but it's only the last couple of weeks because obviously it gets very toxic as well. So
is it water based?
No, it's just like a really fast ester version of tren. It's just
yeah. I feel like we should put it out there that no one should do this.
What? How would you take it? What milligram is it?
It's in micrograms.
Micrograms, okay.
Yeah, that's how potent it is. So it's I
think you should stack some of that with some test suspension and halo testing. Then fuck it and chuck some DMP in it.
Yeah, you're gonna make the news.
Yeah, so my first course was like, so I said, 250 milligram test X and 25 milligram of Dynabol. And to be honest, when obviously it's still proper, you don't need to take thousands and thousands of milligrams. I think the highest I went up to was like, at my training, my heaviest, I think it was only 750 milligram of test, which is probably is quite a lot, but probably 600 milligram of Deca or Equipoise and 50 milligram of Dynabol or Anavaro a day.
What would you say in total? About 12 to 1500 milligrams?
Yeah, with the orals, yeah. But I would never go above that. I mean, when I used to talk to Dorian, he told me he never went above 750 milligram of test and 600 milligram of Dynabol. No, sorry, Deca.
Dynabol.
Deca a week. So I thought if it's someone like fucking who's 300 pounds, there's no point me taking more than that. Do you know what I mean?
I still think there's a tipping point, like where it just makes it worse. Like
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There is like
you've got to get that sweet spot in you. I think with me, 500 milligrams is the sweet spot for me.
Everyone has an affinity. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was hearing people like doing these things, and I'm like, either it's bunk or you're just like your receptors are dead, because I don't understand. Like some of the things, I would just feel like shit. I should be in bed all day.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know how they do it. Yeah, like if I take,
how the fuck do you put it anyway? Like
yeah. If I do 250 milligram in one shot at the start of a course, I am ill as fuck for 2-3 days, like flu symptoms. My body can't hack it. I have to build up to that.
Yeah.
And then when they're doing a fucking shot every single day and they're banging it, it fucking hurts. Where do you pull it?
Yeah. I found as well, as I've gotten older, I'm more sensitive to orals now. So like if I take Dianabol even like, so like to the arse end of the last prep, we threw in a little bit of Halo for the last couple of weeks, and like I was like fun, yeah, I was like literally about to explode. I had to just take it away, otherwise I was just going to ruin my own life.
How was your stomach? Was it
would have been worse.
Digestically?
No, everything was fine stomach wise. It was just I could feel that somebody was only going to have to look at me the wrong way, and I was going to go to prison. Do you know what I mean? It was stupid.
But I've only took that a couple of times, and it wasn't worth the risk. Wasn't worth the benefits to me.
I've found like Dianabol, like when I haven't done it for, don't know, monkeys years, but it made my prostate swell up. Don't know why. Literally made it feel like I had a fist in my ass. I'd be there like after a door shift at like 4 a.m, just like in a cold bath, like hoping that it would like help.
There's Ellis waking up the next morning like chuckling.
This was long before Ellis. I had like 10 dead hookers in the back. It was fine. The prostate was an issue.
Did the dead hooker you found in the bathroom have a massive big strap on him?
It was definitely the Dianabol. Right?
He's convinced himself.
Yeah, definitely. Nothing else happened.
It was the deludable.
So back in the day, Simon, you was running Temple Gym. Do you have all the insights? And you was training there with Mr. Olympia, 6 times Mr. Olympia. So I guess you got all the insights to what he was taking. You seeing what they're doing and things like that. What was training like down at the Temple? I mean, I used to go down once a week to see you guys. But
well, I got to know Dorian after he sort of retired. So I wasn't training with him when he was Mr. Olympia. So I met him when he was at his sort of partying phase, so shall we speak. So his training wasn't as serious as it was when he was competing, but we trained for a good 6-7 months together. It was mainly legs and back because he's had his shoulders are fucked, so we couldn't do any pressing. But yeah, his workouts were like super brief. With it, we do work in 40 minutes. But the only problem with Dorian, I needed longer to warm up, and you do probably 1 warm-up sets, 1 medium set and straight in. But I like to do probably 4 or 5 sets, and his workouts are very intense but very, very brief, which I didn't really like, to be honest. But it was pretty cool training with Dorian. I learned a lot, especially back training, leg training with him. That's what he's known for. So I did learn a lot from him, with his intensity and how to sort of structure your workouts and stuff like that.
Did you prefer like higher volume?
Yeah, for me, especially getting older. You can't train like that anymore. You can't go straight in after doing 2 warm-ups. It takes me like good 20 minutes to, yeah. And I think you can't train like all that all the time. It's just, I like training. I like to train for a long time. I know, an hour and a half. I like to take my time, especially now.
Some of the leg sessions are like 3 hours, isn't they?
Yeah.
It's very long.
Yeah, that's probably a bit too much, but I'd say an hour and 20 minutes is a good time for me. I can take my time. And
I do get to a point though in a workout where I'm like, everything I do now, the only thing it's doing is fucking my CNS. And I can like almost like feel it now. I'm like, this is fucking pointless.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've sort of pulled back from beasting myself in the gym now because, you know, when you get, you can't recover as fast. So, you know, I don't go every set to failure. I'm just sort of training a bit more moderately now, intensity. I'm not killing myself, apart from leg day, of course. But
I just like because everyone talks about like, oh, what training style like works best for me. Everyone's different or whatever. I still think the number one is the one that you identify with, the one that you love doing, and
the one you can stick to and do the most. Yeah,
I just resonated with Doran's training style like from the get go. I'm quite like manic, scatty brain. I need to be in and focused. It needs to be done, and it needs to be.
It shows, Dan, because at the minute your traps look like they're coming out your ears.
No, because that's actually where they come from.
That is where
he doesn't have a neck. It's fucking ridiculous.
Who needs a neck anyway?
Like if Ellis ever gets pissed off, she'd choke him in the area where his neck should be.
Where his neck used to be. Yeah,
you know what? I've spoke to a lot of top bodybuilders. You know, and not everyone trains like Dorian. I mean, you talk to someone like Jay Cutler, and he's a very high volume. He never takes a set to failure. You know, he's high volume, 8 to 10 reps. You look at Ronnie Coleman, like, you know, he's training like Dorian, but twice in one day, twice as much volume. So there's obviously more than one way to skin a cat in there. Someone like Dexter, never trains to failure, just pumps the sets out. You know, everyone's got the different ways to train. There's no one way. What I find.
No, and also I find like it's body part like dependent. Like I train legs very different to how I train like back.
Yeah.
Like usually what I'm saying to people when they're starting out like training is go and do basic shit until you realize that basic shit doesn't work. But you have to try it like first. Like my back training's just been basic as fuck. My back seems to grow, but legs, squats don't do fuck all the like the stuff that's like fun. And then I had to like maneuver around like to find the bits that worked for that. So it's not always the fact of like this training style works for your whole body.
Yeah. You're still finding them, and you don't.
Hey.
Sorry, pal.
It's a life's work.
Have you got your background? So have you used a camera for that?
Because it's a shithole.
Yeah, you can just literally click a blur the background thing on the app.
Cool,
yeah. So I wanted to ask you a question. Obviously, this is probably just a me to you Oh, hello. It's the shitstorm of Dan's.
To be fair, I've cleared it out. We're moving house, so it's a bit
molestation covered.
Yeah, it's where it's Alice's cage around there.
So my question, say, was since we are Pecte brothers.
Yeah.
How did you do it, and how did you find that it impacted your competing and the results and all that good stuff?
Well, I tore mine. It was 20 years ago actually. So I did it doing flies. So I remember it was at the end of the workout. I took a load of ephedrine, so I was fucking man possessed. Ephedrine and Ultimate Orange, I think I had. So It was a fucking crazy workout, and I was smashing it. Then I was doing a set of flies, and I went up to about 110 pound, and I was just shit form. And the last rep, just dropped it, and it just tore on incline flies. And as soon as it happened, I knew it happened. You could hear the fucking tear. And because I was prepping for a comp at the time, and I thought, that's it, game over. So I sort of knew how serious and impacting the pec tear would be, especially competing. So went straight to the hospital, and they put some ice in it, and they said there's nothing we could do about it. To be honest, the next day it was fucking black, totally black. and the couple of days they just swelled up, and obviously you could see the deformation after about a week. Then I was gutted. I was like, that's it. Back then I was trying to get my pro card back then, so I thought I've got a good chance. I did quite well, winning my British first time around, so I had my pro card in mind, and so that sort of threw me right off, and I went to see a surgeon, and they said they couldn't reattach it, so that was hard for me to sort of accept. So so I competed. I think I competed about 6 years after that, obviously without me having reattached, and obviously placings weren't as good. No matter how good shape, condition I got, it was evident, and especially like certain poses, you could see it. It was like you could see it. So 2007, I've got to say, I thought, I'm just going to go and get another second opinion. So I went to another surgeon, and they reattached it. Like, I think it cost about £3,000, and they reattached it. And I was quite happy the way they reattached it. It was probably about 60-70% better. You can still see it's torn, but it's compared to how it was a massive difference. And so once I had that reattached, I started competing again, started winning shows again. So I think it definitely played a part. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I knew it would hold me back. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever like wonder what if? Do you know what I mean? Does that ever cross your mind?
Yeah. I mean, I think I would have got a pro card. We're talking late 90s, early 2000. I was on the way there. I think if I would have, my training would have been on point, and I would have not torn my chest, I think I would have got there in the end. Yeah, probably would have.
Anyone that hasn't seen Simon's physique, in bodybuilding, you get faults and you get weaknesses. Faults is your structure. There's nothing you can fucking do about it. If you've got narrow shoulders and a wide hips, there's nothing you can do about that. You're always going to have an ugly looking physique. Whereas weaknesses, you can always build that muscle up, and it'll take time, but you can build it up. Simon didn't have any faults. He's got really wide structure, really wide shoulders, tiny little waist, brilliant X shape. And you had a very complete physique, didn't you, Simon? It's only your chest really that was letting you down.
Because like yourself too, our shoulders were so dominant. So that's when I was training chest, I used to hammer it, and I think that's why I tore it, because I was training that hard, and I just went over the top. And,
do you feel people with really wide frames are always going to suffer in their chest a little?
Exactly, yeah, definitely. And it was, when you got big shoulders, it's hard to get engagement in your chest, and it's when you got really strong shoulders, they do, especially when you're pressing it, they do tend to do a lot of the work. So for me, it was learning how to sort of isolate my chest, doing loads of pre-exhaust like pec deck cables prior to pressing. But I've learned that after, obviously. Terrible.
Yeah, but you do find you're right. The people with the massive delts and stuff, they can't help but, and you can see them doing it. They're just
exactly,
just a little bit forward.
Funny, because my chest was always sore after training, but it just never responded as much as everything else. And back then, like, there's not as much information. It was like always bench pressing, but it did nothing for my chest. It was just shoulders. I don't know. I had massive triceps, massive front delts, but chest was getting no stimulation. Yeah.
What would you say? What were the top tips then, if you got a weak chest? And
like I definitely isolate first. Now I do like high rep pec deck first, some cables, then just I don't really flat bench press. Do more machine work, like decline, and I don't really do dumbbells, to be honest. Just more machine work. Yeah.
I'm very similar to you, Simon, and I don't flat bench much, although I do with a barbell, but not much. And I get told all the time, you don't have a massive thick chest because you don't do barbell chest heavy. Obviously, I did for many years, and you did the same, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you didn't respond very well.
My shoulders responded, but my chest didn't. Yeah.
Shoulder pain, massive delts, zero chest.
Yeah, my chest just did it for like just lifting heavy shit. So something I didn't have to worry about.
Yeah, a lot of people just have body parts where they just naturally connect, don't they? And they don't have to think about it. I mean, it's like meets legs, I can just jump on leg extensions and they just blow up.
Yeah.
Or biceps, but with chest, I have to really think about
Motherfucker,
it.
he trains calves once a year. Have you seen his fucking
Yeah, I
cows?
know.
Yeah,
Bursting out.
his photo of his calves went viral at one point, didn't it?
Yeah, it's like two fists just stuck in.
Stuck in your ass.
I had a flex off with
That's
flex.
what I
I had a
like.
calf off with flex at his gym. And I did a little poll, so who's got the bigger calves, and I won the poll.
Yes.
A big flex.
Yes. It's
Fuck
not
the pro
biased
card.
enough. I think it was only
Fuck the
your
pro
friends.
card. That's it.
You should just get like a trophy of a calf now.
Yeah,
in the
complete it.
house. Just like
You know, I smash my legs and I'm quite proud of my quads. And I still to this day won't wear fucking shorts ever, anywhere, but let alone in Simon's gym, just because he makes my calves look fucking pathetic.
You'll never
Fuck
see
off with
me.
your calves.
You'll never see me in a pair of shorts.
I live in shorts.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I got flat feet, so my calves are not like Simon.
Actually, it's
They're
been
not bad.
fucking that hot recently. It's like I can't wear bottoms, tracksuit bottoms now.
Do you find a lot of Asian people, Simon, tend to have really good genetic calves?
Yeah, you mean I do actually, because obviously our gyms, there are a lot of Chinese people that train in my gym, and they've always got their fucking calves out. And I'm thinking, so it's not just me with the big calves; they've all got decent pair of calves. I mean,
even the girls, isn't it? Some skinny little girl with popping calves bigger than mine.
That
my
was-
mum
As
my mum
well.
and dad had good calves, so I was.
That's
sort
what I
of,
noticed about Andrew Jack at the weekend. If a black man's got good calves, you're fucked. And yeah,
He's got good calves. Actually,
he's got good calves, and
Yeah,
that means
quite
that when he brings, obviously, the progress he's made since winning his pro card to now is mental. But just to think that what he's going to do in the next couple of years is just insane.
he's still new to it, isn't he? Still very new to it.
The Andrew Jack thing structurally that he has wrong is lower arms and legs.
Yeah,
That's
they are
the
quite
only
they're
thing
quite long, and they
that throws his silhouette out in some of the poses. And this is purely from like you're going to the Olympia, not like I'm not saying anything other than that. But when you're looking for like pure, like that stood out a bit for me. Was his calves are good, but because his lower legs are so long, they look like
They're quite high up with those calves.
yeah, and his forearms like looked. They're not small, but because they're so long,
Yeah,
it did throw like a double bicep off a little bit. And
yeah, I didn't notice that, to be honest. But he's, he still needs to fill out. He was 292, wasn't he, at the Texas? He's 6'2", so he's quite tall. But for the first year, he's done very well. I think.
he's done fucking mental. How long has he been training? Like 5 minutes.
Not long. He's only started competing last year, didn't he?
Yeah,
Did his first show last year.
Plus, he won the amateur Olympia in the US, didn't he? Of Andy Scott, didn't he? The Scottish
Oh,
guy.
okay. Yeah.
Went over to win that. Oh look, there's Andrew Jack.
is that it?
It's different there.
That's yeah.
What's on the screen?
You and your kids.
Wrong screen. I got two screens.
Don't pull up your private account. We don't want to see that shit.
So this is what Dan's talking about. See how long?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, I didn't really notice that, to be honest. He's got
I
such
mean, I'm being like fully picky from
yeah.
but it's the only flaw that he's got. Everything else, like he's got perfect midsection. Everything else is bubbly. He's still got room for more, which I'm sure he's gonna put on. Without that very small, like structural, like
He has got long arms, isn't he? In that pose.
he's without that, he's Ronnie Coleman, isn't he? In the making, if he can.
You see, Dan, what we was talking about last week, we've got it all fucking wrong. We're saying all these people now, they do a course, bang a load of fucking tren, then they think about going to the gym, and then think about doing a competition. That's what he's done. 5 minutes going to the Olympia.
Actually, he's been doing chin-ups on scaffolding, like on his way to McDonald's for like 2 years, and then gone, I'll do a show on one cycle and just.
He's only done 4 cycles. He's told me.
Oh, God.
It
Yeah,
doesn't
he's only
surprise
doing
me.
like a couple of IUs of growth. That's all he's doing, growth-wise. So he's not taking a lot.
No, some people are he's found his calling. It's just a shame that he found it later.
Does it piss you off when you put your fucking soul into something?
Yeah, but
And
we
you
got we got a UK version in Mark Hector as well, haven't we?
Yes, we have. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the same with him. He's like he's in his mid-30s now. It's mental to think if
Well,
he's
Samson is probably the version, isn't it? Because he started late, and then within 3 years he won his pro card, and now he's my age, and he's
Exploded, isn't
getting better and better. That's fucking nuts.
Is Samson doing the Olympia? Is he qualified?
yeah.
Yeah, we had this because we did a boo boo, didn't we?
Yeah, he qualified at the Prague show last year, didn't he?
Okay.
So so
that'd
he's
be
going
that'd be a
straight to
good
the
lineup. This Olympia. I am debating whether to go or not to Vegas. But
Yeah,
Bros tour. Let's go.
I can't go because I haven't had the thingy my bobbies.
Oh, the thing. Well, can't you just like get a fake one?
the V's.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
I've not had the thingy mobbies as well. So
How did
Yeah,
so
you got
I
a
read
passport.
I read the travel thing and it says you're not allowed to enter America without it.
you're not.
Oh,
I have to buy someone.
okay.
You can talk about this later.
I like your style. But yeah. No, it's one of those ones I'd love to go and watch it.
People assume that I've had the V, but I've not had it. No.
Why not, Simon? Being a near death.
Because he completed it.
Huh?
You completed it. You completed COVID anyway.
I've done it, yeah.
So
They need it.
come at me. Can't be much worse than that.
That's not.
It is quite strict though. You do need to have both V's to get in. They do check.
Yeah.
In Spain, I just showed it to them like really close. I was like,
no, you can't even when you're checking for British Airways, you have to have everything before they even get you.
before they even board the plane.
Yeah. Everything has to be
Where is
verified.
the papers? It is fucking neo-Nazi now, isn't it? Where's the papers?
Yeah, that's about right. But I think they'll be abolishing it pretty soon. They'd have to really because like everyone.
Because there'll be Colombian hippo flu next or something.
Yeah, I take the kids to Florida every year normally. So this year we had to go to Portugal. It's not quite the same.
Cy Phantom was just literally scraping asbestos mold directly into his lungs.
This is pre-workout.
The fumes of Agent Orange just ingrained into the gym wall.
Yeah.
So you guys coming to the Arnold? You coming to watch?
Yeah, we went at the expo, but
you got a stand there. You got your own stand.
No, we've potentially going to have something lined up, obviously at the PCA Expo, but we're not sure what we're doing with the Arnold. Obviously, the guys at Full Ballers, they're sponsoring the podcast at the moment, so we may just jump in with them on whatever stands they're having and things.
It's quite expensive, the stands. I inquired last year, and for like a little poxy stand, it was like 16 grand for like which I wouldn't have got my money back. So I'm jumping with because Flex has got a stand there, so sort of helping out on his stand.
Where's the Arnold being held again this year?
NEC.
NEC. Okay, just on the roof. Nice.
If Flex is looking for any more helpers, you know what I mean.
I've got about 100 helpers.
Yeah, I'm sure
Just say you're competing. Like when I competed last time, I just walked up to the side there. I was competing, and they were like, "Yeah, cool."
Yeah, I put some fake tan on.
I didn't say. I mean, I was actually competing, obviously.
All you need is a high-vis bib and a ladder. Get into fucking.
Have you seen that? The sketches they do with that. It's hilarious. They can get anywhere.
Get everywhere, isn't it?
But I didn't go to the pro show last year, so I'm gonna watch the pro show. I'm gonna make an attempt. Obviously, Andrew's doing it. I've got Martin. It's gonna be a good lineup. So I'm gonna.
Who's your money on?
I think Andrew will win it.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
You don't think James can trouble him?
No, I think Andrew will beat him.
You don't think Mark Hector can make enough improvements?
No, I think Andrew. I think he'll take it.
I mean,
they're all like, apart from anything else. Even if someone was the same as Andrew, everyone's watching Andrew.
Yeah, he's got that momentum going into this.
Yeah,
I just think that the guy, it was difficult because at the Texas show, the big guys weren't on, were they? The big guys like Steve Kugler and that. He wasn't on, was he? So it's difficult to compare somebody who's big and on against him. I think that's where the comparison's potentially going to get drawn, especially.
You have to fuck something up.
Yeah, I don't know though.
I don't know. I still love James's physique because it's thick and grainy, and it has got some stuff that Andrew hasn't. But structurally, like even with his long lower legs, which is like nothing, it's pretty fucking wow, and it's reminiscent of something very special.
Yeah, I think structurally, Andrew's lot.
The side shots is where it's going to get won, I think, because Andrew's going to win it from the front, James is going to win it from the back, and then it'll be the side shots that are going to be the money shots, aren't they? Yeah,
but don't forget the Texas. I mean, I think Andrew was only like 75%, so give him another 5-6 weeks, he'll be ready.
Yeah.
But the Texas wasn't a no qualifier, was it?
No, it wasn't. No. And he was prepping in Vegas for the last few minutes. He was away from home. Now he's back in Dubai now, so he'll be prepping home. And he flies out to Birmingham the week before. He's going to be sitting at my gym for the week, so I know he'll be a lot better conditioned.
It wasn't an Olympic qualifier.
Well, I mean, I assumed, why would you do another one?
Well, I think the Arnold.
He wasn't going to do Texas originally, and Flex said to him, just do it as a warm-up show.
But I think he's already committed to the UK Arnold, isn't he?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think that's the reason why he's still doing it.
That's what happened. Okay.
If you remember last year, the UK Arnold was a qualifier for the year after, wasn't it? It wasn't a qualifier for the Olympia that year, so I'm not sure if that's still a thing.
It's all good experience for a minute. I mean, traveling, getting his face known, stage experience.
Well, yeah, get some stage time. So the combined stage time about 6 minutes.
Yeah, it's fucking mental. This is like his fourth show, isn't it?
It'll be his fifth show, yeah. Wow. Crazy.
Yeah.
Shit.
How many shows have you done, Simon?
You know what? I was trying to work it out. I've done about 60 shows in over 26 years. I've had a few years off, but about 60 shows, yeah.
Fuck.
What about you, Dean?
I don't fucking have no clue. I've only ever.
Dean hasn't done many because once he qualified, once he won the British at his first time, I think he never had to do qualifiers, so he just used to do the British every year.
Once. So 14 years of competing. I did the Arnold America, the Arnold Madrid.
Probably completed about 15 times, 16 times.
About that, yeah. It's less than 20.
Nice.
And your show, Simon, that I didn't get on stage for. Can we count that?
No,
yeah,
that was a no show. do you want to tell the story, or have you already told it?
I don't think I have. No. Simon brought the Grand Prix back. You went all out, and you put crazy money into it. XL Centre down in London. This event.
We put $80,000 prize money into the pro show.
Yeah. How much of your money did you put into the whole show?
Too much.
How much of your money did you lose?
All of it.
That's a sore subject.
So the British Grand Prix was the last one was 2005 at Wembley. I think Kerry and Dorian used to run it, and after a while, after they did that last one, they thought it was losing too much money, so they stopped doing the Grand Prix. Then 2010, Zach Khan and Neil Hill were going to bring it back and have it in Birmingham, and so they found a venue at the ICC, which is where they held the Mr. Universe, but Mr. Nick Orton, who used to run Body Power, put a stop in it, and he basically told the guys at the ICC, we can't have a show in Birmingham. Well, they couldn't have a show in Birmingham. So at the time, Zach had just turned pro, and he was probably prepping for his first pro show. Then that's the time he tore both his quads hack squatting. I think, I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
So me and Neil flew straight to Sheffield like 2 days after sitting in hospital, and he said, "Look, Neil, I can't do the Grand Prix. You're gonna have to." So I sort of took Zach's place to promote the Grand Prix, and basically funded it. So we had to find another venue, which was in London, XL, and I think just to hire the venue was like 50 grand, just to hire the space, and yeah, so we had a year to plan for it. So we got the amateur Olympia. We had the 212. No, it was 202 men's bodybuilding and the open bodybuilding. So me and Neil, that 2010, we're sort of going all around the world trying to promote the Grand Prix, going to all the pro shows, trying to get all the pros to do our show. And we did get a great lineup. And at the same time, we had the first ever amateur Olympia, which Dean was invited to because he just won the Arnold. No, he just done the Arnold Classic in America, and our show was 2 weeks after the Arnold. So Dean, I think, got ninth, to get ninth, 8th or 9th at the.
Yeah, I fucked it up, but I was really happy with ninth. So I reckon I could have got close to the top 5 maybe if we come in right, but I was really stringy, wasn't it? It was my first time abroad.
First time abroad as well, yeah. So that's a bit of an opener.
And it all went wrong, didn't it? 7 hour fucking power cut. We had no food.
A power cut before they went on stage.
It was the shit, wasn't it? But yeah, so the Grand Prix, I said, yeah, well, I'll jump into that. And I was competing in the 90 kilo category, wasn't it? Light heavies. But the Grand Prix, it had a 95 or 96 cutoff point.
95, yeah.
With 5. So, and I was always so fucking flat to make the 90s. So this was my chance. You weigh in the day before the show, and I weighed in bang on the fucking limit. Biggest I would ever been on stage at that point. And everything was right. I felt great. My condition was bang on. And you had a day to fill out as well. So
then you had to pay £250 to enter as well.
Yeah, I might have made a
hotel, 10.
Got ready. We had a little prep in the morning, gathered everyone around. This is like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. And they're like, the show's going to start at 10 a.m. So don't go anywhere. Make sure you're here. Okay, my hotel's room's down there. It's 8 o'clock. I'm going to go and get my food and shit, get my stuff, come straight back. So I go down there, just chilling. Show starts at 10. So if I'm back there for 10, I'm not going to be on for a good few more classes yet. I've got plenty of time, haven't I? So it's nearly 10 o'clock. Simon rings me up. Where the fuck are you? I'm in the hotel. I'm coming over now. You're on stage now. Get here now. I'm like, what you on about? They said 10 o'clock. Will they push the show forward? You're on stage now. Get here now. And just to give you a scale of how big the Excel Centre is, it's nearly a fucking half a mile.
Yeah.
Bottom to the other end. I grabbed my bag and I fucking ran the half mile. So I think that 6 kilo was gone. By the time I got there, I sweated my fucking ass off. Ran backstage, started ripping my clothes off. They were just gone on stage, innit? And
they did a couple call outs, and I was begging to Bill T, and they said, "Look, Dean's on his way." He goes, "Too late," because he's missed it. Because Bill, come on, this is fucking my show. Because I don't care, it's your show. He's missed it.
Yeah, I got there. I was naked now. I'm ready to go on. No, he was just like, no, you can't. I was like, fuck. And I was absolutely gutted for all of about 2 minutes, and I found a burger stand and I could eat. It's like, oh,
you know what you did? I remember, like, you prepping for that show. You did. I mean, you stripped for Temple, and that guy, was it Lucas Olsardi? Is it
Lucas? Yeah,
yeah. He was doing the same comp, wasn't he? But in America. And I remember he was at Temple Gym, and I remember
the guy with the sword tattoo.
The one who can do weird posing with his glutes. They can roll his glutes.
He does a lot of glute work on the internet.
Yeah, he's done quite well at Olympia. But I remember, like, Dean was stripping off, and he was like staring at Dean, and I said, "Oh, he's in your class at the Arnold." And he did look quite worried. But yeah, there was also Sammy Al-Hada. He was competing in your class, really. Sammy was good. I think he won it, didn't he, Sammy?
Mashed it. He looks phenomenal. He always looks perfect, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was against him, and his government was giving him like $35,000 a month to be amateur.
Yeah.
And I was getting minus £3,000 to do it. It cost me $3,000, and he's on 35 grand a fucking
Sammy
month.
Didn't take his pro card, did he? He sort of handed it into the second place winner.
Yeah.
I wouldn't either if I was getting 35 fucking grand a month.
Kamal was telling us about that. Obviously, for a long time, he didn't compete in the pro league because of that same reason.
Yeah, they housed his family and everything.
Yeah.
I competed against Kamal at the NABA Pro-Am 2001. Yeah, obviously he beat me, but yeah, I can say I competed against him.
Yeah,
I competed against him at the PCA Pro Show, innit?
Yeah, 2017. Yeah,
I'd like to say I'm.
Sean beat him, didn't he? Sean Tavernier.
Yeah.
It was so close between him and Sean. It could have gone either way.
I mean, I agree. Kamal looked unbelievable, always perfectly polished, brilliant overlook. But I thought Sean's lines are a little nicer. His muscles are so full and round. He's a stacked, and that's 5'1" and fucking.
I was judging that show, and it was so fucking close. It was like 1 minute I had Sean, 1 minute I had Kamal. I kept on like switching. Yeah.
And I fucked that one up big time, didn't I? I looked a bag of shit on that one.
So, Simon, what we do, bud, towards the end of the podcast is we ask our guests for 5 top tips. So I don't know if it's just in any relation to.
Loads of them are shit. I always say that. Loads of them are shit. So
yeah, it can be life, bodybuilding.
So number 1, if you want to drop 5 stone, just get COVID. Number 2, if you want to put 5 stone on, just fucking go on Simon's diet plan to get squatted.
There's 2 out the window.
There we go. He's up in your day. We got another 3 now.
5 top tips. I mean, give me what more context.
Consistency was probably the number 1.
Yeah, no, it's just anything.
Oh, you mean like for bodybuilding? You mean?
Yeah, it doesn't.
It could be life stuff. It doesn't really matter. Someone said don't eat yellow snow.
Like don't lick the end of the battery.
Just enjoy doing what you're doing. Just gotta enjoy it. You gotta fucking love it. To do that shit every day. You gotta love it, and you gotta enjoy it.
Valid.
I see a lot of people get into competitions that they hate it and they think, why are you doing it if you don't enjoy it? You gotta love this shit at the end of the day. Yeah. Why do something you're not gonna enjoy?
Instagram's not a good enough reason.
Exactly. Would they still be training if there was no Instagram?
I know. That's the thing, isn't it? Okay, so that's number 3 because Dean's given you 2. Okay. We got 2 more.
2 more.
Business, health, anything.
Health.
If you want to do a podcast with Flex Lewis, fly to America and try and catch him.
Exactly. Yeah. Make sure you contact him first.
Yeah.
Give us a little insight into business or something, Simon, because I see you as a very good businessman, as the amount of times you've had nothing or been in prison and had everything taken away from you, and you always bounce back, and now you're in a point that you own fucking Ultimate Fitness, which is 3-story, unbelievable, massive gym. How'd you do that shit?
Like I said, you gotta love doing what you love doing. What you're doing every day. I mean, there's been parts where I've had no money. When I set up the gym for the first, I'd say, a year, I wasn't making any money. Every bit of money I was reinvesting back into the gym, and having that belief in yourself, having that vision, saying, the more passion you put into something, eventually it will pay off. You've seen the growth of the gym over the last 9-10 years, how from starting Ultimate Fitness, the first one, starting off, small, just our friends, to what it is now. The gym's thriving. It's busier than it's ever been. So it's got to keep chipping away at it. There's no sort of, secret is there. It's got to be like anything, like your bodybuilding. You've got to be consistent with the business. Keep, putting the same passion into your training as your business. And I still love owning the gym now more than ever, because it's, I'm doing other things within the gym industry, but I think it's, especially now with the gym culture, it's grown more than ever. It's more popular than ever. So the gyms are very busy at the moment. So it's a good time to own a gym. Definitely, yeah. Yeah. Especially in Birmingham with the Arnold Classic coming up, and Birmingham is sort of a hotbed for gyms. It's like the Mecca, isn't it? Don't you think? So we're lucky enough to have our gym in Birmingham. People do travel far to train my gym, so I'm so lucky, but I've worked hard for it.
On a positive note, Simon, you're from Birmingham, but you don't have the annoying accent, so it's quite good.
I'm not from Birmingham, actually. I'm from Staffordshire.
There we go then. Explains it all.
I mean, Birmingham was always the spot, like bodybuilding, like down here in the West. There was quite a scene in Wales. There wasn't really a scene here, and Birmingham was always like, yeah, we should go to Birmingham. There's massive people there.
Well, you had all the expos there. You had Body Power, obviously. You had Temple Gym. There's loads of brilliant gyms in Birmingham. Loads of amazing gyms. So we are, it's central as well. So it's a good place to be, Birmingham, and a lot of people have relocated to sort of be amongst all these gyms. So it's definitely the place to be.
All right, I think we can let him off the last one.
Yeah, I think we leave it at that. Honestly, but parts of that podcast, honestly, it was amazing. But thank you for not holding
Thank
back,
you.
going into some of the detail in that. It's been really, really interesting. I think our viewers will love watching that. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you for inviting me. And don't forget, I've got my own Phantom podcast, which I've just recently brought out. So if you want to look at my YouTube or Instagram, it's on there. I've had some good guests on, and hopefully over the next few weeks, I've got some good guests lined up in
Give us some
preparation
shameless
for the Arnold.
plug, Simon. Where can we find you? Where can we get the podcast? Where should we
Uh,
visit?
Or if you go on YouTube, Simon Fan, all my videos on there. I've only done, I think, 9 podcasts, but I've got a separate playlist for it. And yeah, so I've had, like I said, I've had Flex Lewis, I've had Samir Benoot, I've had Steve Crichton, I've had yourself, Dean, and I've got a list. I've made a list of all the bodybuilders that I wanted on my podcast at the beginning. Let me get this list up now. And
Like a shopping list of Mr. Olympia's. Like,
It's not like the
Yeah,
Argos
fair enough.
catalogue you had as a kid. You are actually going to get this.
I've ticked off quite a few.
We've
so-
got like a WhatsApp chat where we're like, who can we get on the podcast?
You know what? When I started my Legion page up, I managed to get interviews and get people on my Legion site. I've got Phil Leaf, I've got Jay Cutler, I've got Sean Roden, Lee Priest. I got all these fucking unbelievable athletes, and nearly all of them are because of Simon and being at his gym and around these people. He's in there with every fucking one of them.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy.
Right place at the right time, I say. But I wanted to get a lot of the British ex-pros like James Llewellyn and obviously Ant Bales, John Hodgson, people like that. But obviously, I was lucky enough to get Flex. So yeah, I've got a list: Zach Khan, Gary Stridham, Darren Ball, Eddie Abu, people like Lee Priest. I know you've had Lee on your podcast. But yeah, this is the list.
Yeah.
We had Eddie. That was
Yeah.
that was.
We've had Eddie, we've had Ant, we've had John, we've had
You had John Hodgson, yeah.
we had John on. He was
He's
very
funny fucker.
controversial with his opinions, as you'd imagine.
Him and Eddie. Well, went to a seminar in Lee Powell's gym.
I was there.
You were there. Of course you were.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah,
Fucking hell! You would forget though, because those two just fucking went in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, you were there, and they just fucking. It was like.
I'm trying to get. Do you remember a bodybuilder? I probably don't remember a bodybuilder called Grant Thomas. We're talking mid-90s from Wales. You must have heard. Grant.
I think he used to train in. Did he train in peak physique?
I think so. Yeah, I'm trying to get him, but he's not on any social media that I would know of. And he's not done anything since he last competed, which was 99 Night of the Champions, and he sort of just fell off the face of the earth. I would love to get him. I got Steve Crichton, because him and Steve Crichton used to always compete against each other. And I got Steve on a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But Grant Thomas, he's just totally disappeared.
Yeah, I don't ever hear anything about him, so I couldn't comment. And
He was fucking massive.
yeah,
He was good. He would have been a good 212 bodybuilder.
All right, there's the plug. Everyone go and check it out.
indeed,
But after you've checked this one out,
indeed,
Yeah.
which actually you'd have to for me to have said that.
yeah,
It's getting late.
by proxy. Right then, gents, thank you
It's
very
always a
much.
pleasure to see you, mate.
Yeah,
Might catch
I'll see you at the Arnold if you're there.
Yes,
Indeed.
See you
sir.
at the Arnold.
Spot
Yes,
on.
mate.
Thank you, gents.
All right, peace out, dude. Big
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
Easy.